Alright, hey guys, it's Tomo. I wanted to give you an update on our Metaverse school project at Awike Enterprise. We spent the last 12 months experimenting with how we can use a Metaverse school in the education field with the help of about 140 schools in Japan that used our own Metaverse system called ABOS. We had many discoveries and did much more than just a few events. Many schools used it daily, and I'd like to share what we did, how we did it, and what we learned from it. I hope this will help other schools expand their Metaverse program and create more diverse opportunities for students around the world. Okay, let's get in. Okay, so Awike Enterprise has 4 high schools, 4 technical colleges, and 1 Japanese language school in Philippines. All of them started using ABOS last April, and we also made the system available to other schools that wanted to join. We made it so any school could visit the ABOS website and create their own Metaverse school in less than 10 minutes by just clicking the Create School button. This eventually allowed about 130 schools to sign up and create their Metaverse schools in the last 12 months. We can't disclose the number of students for each school, but even with about 9 schools in Awike Enterprise itself, we had about 800 students who used the system daily. The schools outside Awike Enterprise included some high schools, technical colleges, as well as small schools from small communities and some language schools. Many schools initially worried about cyberbullying and content moderation. It is essential to monitor students' activities in the metaverse and regulate them when something inappropriate happens. Some schools limited the time when their students could access the metaverse world. Many users are under 18 years old, and many parents were nervous about VR classrooms at first. We wanted to encourage schools to open their doors as much as possible, so we presented an hour or two lecture in front of their students and taught them what they should be aware of when accessing the internet and entering the metaverse. We covered the same topics you should know when accessing any social media, including the risks of exposure to bullying, rumor spreading, and fake news. You should be careful about oversharing personal information and posting inappropriate content. After that lecture, the school decided to open their virtual classrooms 24 hours. We encountered some incidents where our user was kicked out of a virtual classroom because her avatar was not normal, or the teacher in that room didn't like it. She had to log out, change her avatar, and get back into the room again. But she later complained about it. We questioned why we should be regulated about how our avatars look like if we have a virtual classroom. There were many small instances like that, and we always kept communicating with the users and schools so we could have an innovative, interesting, and safe environment for all users. Our goal was to find solutions for these types of incidents, and since every school is unique, there were as many solutions as the number of schools. We had many use cases for these VR classrooms, which I will introduce in 3 categories. Number 1, special events. Awike schools held virtual graduation and school entrance ceremonies in a virtual hall. By putting up a large screen, we were able to show the live streaming from the actual event hall in real time to those who couldn't attend the ceremony in person due to COVID-19 restrictions. We also brought out a 3D 360 degrees camera to the actual ceremony, allowing anyone with a VR headset to experience the ceremony in an immersive way. This was especially beneficial for the family members of graduating students who were unable to attend in person. In the fall, schools usually hold school festivals in Japan. We hosted our own virtual festival in conjunction with actual Awike high schools, inviting all the students and anyone else who wanted to join. The 3-day event was packed with live lectures from notable guests such as a famous writer and an actual professor from our nursing care school who conducted a sample lecture about human bodies and bones using 3D models. We also had a guest speaker from Berlin, Germany, who helped us learn about different cultures. In addition to the lectures, we played quizzes and hide-and-seek games using a function that allowed us to transport people and put them in a cage. The festival concluded with a 360-degree fireworks display, which was particularly awesome to experience with VR headsets. Before the festival, students from all 4 high schools were given 3D rooms to decorate and introduce their schools to others. They took pictures, made videos, and captured 3D models of interesting objects both in and outside the school, which they displayed in virtual classroom. These 3D models were captured by students using their phones and uploaded to the Metaverse. There were also a few 360-degree VR videos from one Awike school in the Philippines, showcasing the breathtaking immersive landscape from a mountaintop. Despite the distance between those various schools, they worked together on one space and collaborated with each other, uploading images, videos, and 3D models, and exchanging their ideas. We also held bi-weekly interview events at one of these VR rooms, which is actually this room, inviting professionals as guest speakers and encouraging all students to join. These events were not only fun and educational, but they also helped us determine the types of lectures needed, especially for students who attend virtual schools. Number 2, daily events. Kaien, one of Awike's partner schools located in Chiba, Japan, has been using VR to deliver daily after-school programs for students with ADHD. In the past, Kaien used video chat sessions to interact with these students, but they discovered that the students spoke out more in the 3D environment. In the VR classroom, students could interact with 3D avatars instead of turning their cameras on, which made it easier for them to expose themselves. Additionally, facial expressions could be transferred to 3D avatars, allowing students to teachers to see if someone was smiling or laughing. This discovery was groundbreaking and could lead to significant changes in how schools interact with students with special needs. Awike Nursing Care School also used VR to deliver daily review sessions for students through a program called Cafe ABOS. A professor ran these sessions after school hours, and students were able to log into the virtual classroom to ask questions about their classes. This non-mandatory session allowed students who cannot stay late at school to catch up on their studies at a time that works for them. The virtual environment also allowed the professor to connect with students and their families remotely. Often, students logged in from their living rooms with family members around, allowing the professor to say hi to their parents and for the parents to see their children working on their homework with the help of the professor. Number 3, daily classes. Schools also used our virtual classrooms in their daily class lectures during school hours. ABOS comes with built-in video chat systems that are very much the same as Zoom, so they can do online classes anytime. Using the VR classrooms enables the teachers to extend the class in the whole new world when dealing with some mathematical models and some 3D objects. It helps students to better understand the context. The good thing about ABOS was that we were able to hear the live feedbacks from both teachers and students directly. We were closely tied with Awike schools, and we had more than 100 partner schools participated in trying the system. So these are some examples of what we actually did in the last 12 months. Discussing with all 140 schools gave us a lot of ideas about the new features and events that we can do in the future. Okay, so Metaverse School. Sounds awesome, right? Well, unfortunately, Awike Enterprise just decided to pause the development of the virtual classrooms. It is simply because of the lack of funding. The team was already dismissed a few months ago, and I'm also leaving this project in maybe a week from now, by the time this video is released. But the experience of using the metaverse in education has shown great potential for expanding learning opportunities and creating an immersive and engaging environment for students. While there are certainly challenges to overcome, such as content moderation and ensuring student safety, these can be addressed with proper guidelines and education, like exactly the way we did. The use cases for the metaverse in education are diverse, as I explained. By creating virtual classrooms, schools can provide additional resources for students and even extend learning beyond traditional classroom hours. The lessons learned from the experience of using the metaverse in education can still be valuable for future projects. It is important to continue exploring the potential of new technologies in education and to keep pushing the boundaries of what it is possible. If you are interested in working with me or our team to continue exploring the potential of the metaverse in the education, please do not hesitate to reach out. Together, we can create a brighter future for education and ensure that the students have access to the resources they need to succeed whenever they want, wherever they are. Alright, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Alright, thank you. Bye.